don't want to say I told you so because sometimes that sounds a little bratty here, but we did tell liberals that minimum wage would cost minimum wage workers their jobs, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's exactly what's happening, Liz, and you hit it right on the head. And you should take some points for that one for sure, because it's so obvious that when the free market economy is allowed to work, the free market economy actually works. And who does it work best for? The little guy, and to make sure that those who are minimum wage earners have real opportunities, because without that first job, there's no chance to get promoted or get to that second job or that third job and to work their way up into their own version of the American dream. And so I think that's the challenge is while they claim that this is all for the little guy, in the end, it's the little guy that gets hurt the most.
Right, and something I think is particularly telling in this case is that the new CEO of Starbucks actually admitted that this is the reason why they're doing this. This isn't something that you and I as conservatives looked on from the outside and said, oh, we see why they're doing what they're doing. They said it in their own words. This is what he said. Johnson said major metro areas where increases in wage and occupancy and other regulatory requirements are making it unprofitable. That's why they're abandoning those issues. I mean, Starbucks is not a typically conservative company. I mean, they had a CEO that was very much in the tank for Hillary Clinton, very much in the tank for Barack Obama, thought about running for president himself, and now they're admitting that a pretty big part of the Democratic platform, this fight for 15, this minimum wage, is the very reason why. I'm not sure where that leaves them.
It's very interesting. One, it's interesting that they waited until Mr. Schultz had left the building to actually admit that the minimum wage is part of the problem of going into those inner cities and into some of those more important spaces for expansion. But the other thing that's interesting is Mr. Schultz is definitely on the campaign trail floating some trial balloons. He was here in Utah not long ago, and the narrative still sounds great, but it's the application that matters. And Liz, you read something really important in Mr. Johnson's statement, and that is the regulatory component to this. One of the great achievements of the Trump administration is the reduction in the regulatory burden placed on businesses, remembering that when we put heavy regulation on businesses, who gets hurt? The consumer. And often that's just a backdoor tax that really hurts the poor and the most vulnerable.
Right, right. And this too, I want to read this. This is from Johnson as well. He says, now in a lot of ways, it's middle America and the South that presents an opportunity. And I love how he calls it middle America and the South. He could just say anywhere outside of big cities that are run by liberal governments, because that's essentially what he's meaning. Middle America, the Midwest, I mean, those are red states. The South, certainly red states right there.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.